Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we have an interesting story to unpack. The man I'm seeing lacks masculinity and ambition. And I've noticed that actually women have put that in the same box, ambition and masculinity, and I suppose they go together. Can they be separated? Can ambition be something that's done in a feminine light? I don't know. Maybe we'll unpack that a little further in the story today. If you have a story you want to share, please visit writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. The website currently sucks. It's pretty vanilla. It's been like that way for a while, but I'm having someone right now rebuild the entire website. I think it's going to be really nice. So that being said, it does work. So if you want to send in your story or you want to book a live coaching session, please do. writemac.com. If you want to check me out on Instagram, Coach Mac McCarthy, and if you want to call in and be a caller on the live stream, which I've interviewed past clients recently, talked about their past relationships, their issues, some topics, and then actually just threw some rapid fire questions their way about different things. And it's been really cool. So if you want to come on the show, Coach Mac McCarthy at Gmail is my email. That rhymes. And you could certainly send in your story and just say, hey, I'd like to be a caller on the show. And unpack some things. I'd have to, if you're not a past client, I do have to interview you a little bit beforehand and talk to you. But maybe we can do that. So today we are talking about a story I haven't completely read. It came in about a week ago from someone that's made a few comments on videos and whatnot. And the story is pretty interesting, actually. I only read the first half of it. But one of the things that's mentioned is in the beginning is that she married her high school sweetheart, Eduardo Martinez. I hope you're well. One of the things that she mentioned is that she married her high school sweetheart, and they were together for a long time, and then in their 30s just realized they weren't compatible is the word I would use. The spark wasn't there, the chemistry or whatnot. And this happens so often, right? I mean, long-term relationships can get boring. I like the word stale. And some people go, oh, you can't stop. You just got to keep dating your partner. And I know from my own experience being in long-term relationships of 5 and 7, well, one was nearly 8 years, 5 years, 7 years where we lived together, basically lived a married life without being married, minus the kids. It gets stale. It gets to, and there's some people out there that are exception to the rule. Oh my God, we never stop loving each other. Oh my God, we've had the most incredible 25 years. Good for you. Good for you. You beat the fucking odds. But a lot of relationships, for different reasons, become stale, or you become friends, or you just can't find any spark anymore. And if you think about it, there's a lot of things in life like that, right? There's a lot of things in your life that you've liked for a long time, and then all of a sudden you just stop doing them, right? When I was a kid, from the age of probably 7 or 8 years old, I played basketball, I would say almost every day till I was about 13. And I got cut from the basketball team in high school, and I didn't play again for a few years. I mean, I played here and there, but I didn't play every day or regularly. I wasn't as passionate or big in it. But I mean, I played, playing on different teams, different leagues, playing for schools. I just loved to play, and I played every day all the time. Now, I came back to that years later as a thing that I did and played in other leagues and different things like that. Or think about this simple one. Has there ever been, and maybe I'm just more of a creature of habit than some of you out there, but has there been a cafe or a coffee shop that you go to every day for 2 years, 3 years, and then you just go, I can't eat that again, or I found another place. I feel like we are creatures of habit, but we can break stride and we can get bored with things, and there can be foods and things that we really like, but over time, we can get bored, and that's what happens in relationships. But what also happens really big time in relationships when they get stale, or when they get to that point where people go, I still love you, but I'm not in love, the famous line, right? Is that you filtered badly in the beginning for a long-term partner. Now let me elaborate on that a little bit, because I'm coming across this again and again and again. It's probably one of the, if I was going to give someone advice in their early to mid 20s, or anyone actually, it doesn't need to be a young person, but young people, when I have them as coaching clients, are just sponges. They want to learn. They want advice. People in their 30s and 40s want to talk about the problem a lot more, talk about past experiences. It's a different dynamic. So when I say if I was going to give advice to, let's just say, my younger self, we all tend to be more of an opportunist in the dating world. And some people might not identify with that, but stay with me on this. In your early to mid 20s, what you're attracted to or who you fall in love with usually is someone you worked with, or, well, now it's dating apps too. But you had a problem with them in the beginning. You go, I wasn't that attracted to them, but I fell for them because they were ambitious and they were a leader and this, that, and the other. Or I always didn't like the fact that, they like to smoke weed a lot, but then I overlooked that. Those things in the beginning of when you date that you kind of don't like, they grow into giant long-term trees with lots of branches. And once you get to me and you're in your breakup, and these are these long-term relationships, and you go, if I'm going to trace things back, there was evidence in the beginning of the relationship of what are now the issues. And people overlook them for lust, passion, excitement, or just filling the void of being lonely and having someone to talk to every day. Now, notice I didn't say narcissistic or manipulated. That's a different category that's being used quite a bit, and it's sometimes it's being used accurately. My partner was a master manipulator / narcissist, selfish piece of what. You feel, when I talk to you, you had a role in choosing that individual, right? A lot of times when you first fell for that person, there was evidence of those things in them. Where I'm going with this, a lot of times these stale relationships, there was evidence that this could have occurred up front. The other part of it is when you get to 10, 12, 13, 14 years, which is gold medal, pinnacle, achievement type relationship in the 21st century. This is 21st century. You get to 10 plus years of living together and you love each other and you've been going, when you get to that stale moment, or you get to that moment where you just can't connect anymore, you got to think, did I see this early on? I just overlooked it. Was it something I didn't like a long time ago? Now I hate it. It's like recently I had a client, really good kid. I say kid because he's about 25 and I've been his coach for about 3 years now. Maybe he talks to me 2 or 3 times a year, and it's grown into something where he talks to me about work. He talks to me about, what careers he's thinking about going into. So he's recently dating a woman that was a good friend for years. I know some people cringe when they go, guys can't be good friends with girls. Yes, they can. It's a choice. It depends on your makeup and who you are as an individual. And they ended up becoming friends with benefits. and this is after years of being good friends, but they had hooked up in the beginning of being friends. So there's something there early on. She had a kid since then, had a serious partner. They start hooking up. He likes it. They're good. He's okay with the friends with benefits. But then she drops on him, hey, look, I'm seeing another guy. I just wanted to make you aware of that. And he goes, pump the brakes, because he's thinking for a minute. At first I was like, yeah, I kind of was still dating someone else but not seeing it. It really pissed him off. And then he got a background check on the guy because he had mutual friends. He goes, the guy's kind of, a loser. He's this or that. I don't like to talk down about people, this, that, and the other. So he had a profile on the guy, which isn't always good. But here's, once he came to me, he goes, look, I panicked. I told her, look, you got to just see me or you got to see him. So he changed the rules of the game as far as from friends with benefits to now I want to be serious because I heard you're dating someone else. And he panicked a little bit. But when we started doing the coaching session, he mentioned some things that he didn't care for, right, about her. And those things that he mentioned up front, I thought to myself, well, these are issues that are going to, if everything goes right, and I tell people this a lot in live coaching sessions, what if everything goes right? What if you get everything you want? What if she says, yeah, I don't want to be with this guy. I want to date you full time. Yeah, I want to, I'm all in with you. But you did mention some things that you don't like that are significant things, like a lack of attraction, physical attraction. The fact that, I don't know, you're seeing someone and they're seeing some other guy. That's another thing. If someone's seeing someone else and you view it as a shady thing while you're dating or disrespectful, and you're able to, let that go, and then you get into a serious relationship, you usually, as a human being, keep that in your back pocket for an argument later on where you throw out there, well, remember when you were seeing that other guy that was a loser? And then she's like, what? You're going to bring that up? I thought you let that go. No, it comes out conveniently. So where I'm going with this is your issues of getting into a, stale relationship where you fall out of love and you're going to have to get a divorce and you guys just don't have that connection anymore. Number one, is very common. Number two, it might not be that you guys just couldn't make it work. It might have been from the get-go you weren't as good as match as you thought. Or the other one, someone just changed. They changed who they were from 10 years ago, which is very common. So I got 6 on deck, 2 likes. I'm going to get into this story. Eduardo Martinez, Rob IS, always appreciated. MC, who lives in England, I did remember this time. Jen, always a pleasure. I hope you're doing well. That's Jen with 2 N's. And Nav, who's been on a few times, or more than a few times. I was hoping to get to 10 people before I drop the story, but you can't always get what you want, as the Rolling Stones believe. So, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Okay. So the client wrote sunk cost fallacy. So I didn't put that on the title of this video because I don't know if that lines up with a lot of people wanting to look that up as a video, but that was the title of the story. Hi, Mac. I really enjoy your YouTube channel. I really enjoy your YouTube channel. And perspectives on relationships, and thank you for your time and efforts. They are greatly appreciated. That's how you start a story, folks. Thank you for saying thank you, and it's my pleasure to serve you as a breakup coach, consultant, objective advisor, non-biased individual. Let's get into it. I too am from California, although I do not live there now. A lot of people have moved from Cali. So I feel an extra connection hearing advice from one of my own people. Well, thank you. California is a beautiful place. Bay Area and San Diego is the two places I lived. From what I've heard, they've changed quite a bit. I did like San Diego better long-term to live, but Bay Area was a great place to grow up. It's changed so much, though. Anyway, I was married to my high school sweetheart in my early 20s, and we had 2 lovely children. Well, good for you. That's an achievement right there. As my ex-husband and I approached our 30s, we realized that we did not have a connection any longer, no matter how hard we tried. Well, here's the good thing. You tried. You tried. You gave it an effort. You probably gave it an effort for the kids, and the fact that you were married gave you an extra effort also. It's not common. Don't put your head down, but what's the alternative? To stay in a dead marriage where you're not connected with someone and you're acting out marriage stuff without really being excited or happy? If you want to see a good movie about that, watch American Beauty with the great Kevin Spacey, right? We decided to get divorced, and it's been 5 years since the excruciating divorce process. Well, if we were in a live coaching session, I'd definitely want to unpack why was it excruciating, because that's a strong word. Being that you seem to feel like it was the right thing to do because you had no connection and tried. After the divorce, I took 2 years off to focus on myself and my children, revisioning my life plan. Excellent choice. Good for you. I took 2 years off to focus on myself and my children. Okay. I decided to go back to school for nursing and began a CNA job. I'm not familiar with that. I'm maybe a California nursing assistant, supporting my children and co-parenting with my ex-husband. During the course of this time, I began going to a group at a local liberal-minded type church. I think that's great. And this group was about recovering from any type of hurt, habit, or hang-up. What I was working on was grief, codependency, and self-care because my ex-husband and I were stuck in a cycle that led me to exhibit many codependent traits. Good for you to identify that. What I really like here is that she's identifying her role, where she was at in the relationship, rather than pointing the finger and just saying, and she's doing that first. Very mature. This is someone that's solution-based, and I applaud you for that. Without going too deep into it, my ex-husband is a high-functioning alcoholic, and I was an over-responsible caretaker, leading me to act in an unhealthy manner for the latter part of our relationship. Wow. Again, instead of bashing your husband, which would be the easy way out for being a high-functioning alcoholic, you're saying, ironically, I was over-responsible caretaker. You're taking responsibility for your role in staying in this relationship. It's very accountable of you and admirable. In this church group, I became quite active, and my children loved the atmosphere. It was truly a light at the end of the tunnel for us. I began talking to an older man who was also part of the group. Even though our groups were not co-ed, he was involved in the entire ministry as well. Well, serendipity happens, right? He is 14 years older than I. Well, if you're in your 30s, that's not so bad. And as our relationship evolved, I fell deeply in love with him. We connected on a spiritual, emotional, and physical level, and to a high degree. I would add that if you had been with your high school sweetheart and the marriage wasn't good for a long period of time, then you took a 2-year break, probably the first great to good to outstanding connection that you have is even going to be elevated more. So what do I mean by that? And this isn't to take anything away from your experience. I'm saying you did feel this and it's accurate, but part of the reason it's accurate is the same reason if I was in the Mojave Desert and I didn't have water for 8 hours and someone drives up in a water truck and goes, here, I got some ice cold water for you. It would taste like the best water I've ever had in the world. And I would probably drink gallons of it. Because when you neglect yourself of something or have been neglected of something, and you get your first taste of it, it elevates it big time. Okay, so like I said, I'm not saying this isn't true, but part of the reason it's extra special is you haven't had this for such a long time, and it's a completely different connection you had with your ex, and that makes it special also because that was your past relationship was one that you identified as not being very good. We connected on a spiritual, however, there was one big problem with this man, ambition. During the course of our relationship, he had many jobs and never seemed to value or care about building a rapport or having a goal, and this began to drive me crazy. Well, I mean, being the fact that he's older than you too, it might have worried you that you were maybe going to have to be his financial support. Unfortunately, you know, finances are really important, especially as you get older, and if someone's not working or providing for themselves, and that's a partner of yours, their problems become your problems. And if you feel like they're in and out of jobs constantly, right when you start dating them, and you're a responsible individual that has a good job, look out, because you're going to be picking up the slack for them, especially if you're highly in love with them. If that's a problem now, it'll be a problem later on. There is such thing, there's this idea of responsible codependency for an alcoholic. There could be responsible codependency for someone that's lazy and doesn't work also, right? During the course of our relationship, he had many jobs and never seemed to value or care about building. Okay. I myself am driven, not overly, but relatively driven to succeed. I do not have high expectations, am not high maintenance, but I do require stability. That's reasonable. I like the way you put that. I tried to accept this part of him. Tried is the key word. It should be effortless in the beginning. As time carried on, I began to feel more like the masculine energy in our relationship, although this man is very masculine in nature, but lacks the ambition that most masculine men possess. I would say that some men could be masculine without being ambitious, depending on what you regard as ambitious. I think a lot of times ambition would be regarded as something that's successful with money or business. And if I had to guess, if your past relationship was with a high-functioning alcoholic, he probably was good at his job or made a lot of money or both. And so subconsciously, even though this man was so great and wonderful in the beginning, you're seeing something he lacks that you've seen in other men before that you were attracted to. That being said, if we were doing a live coaching session, I'd want to unpack what you mean by ambition specifically, because some people would have different definitions of that. I am a feminine woman. Go for you. I like feminine women. And find the idea of feeling masculine in a relationship reprehensible. Wow, I never see that word a lot of times. Because my partner was slacking off in this pivotal department, I began to feel the need to overcompensate, killing my sexual attraction and respect for my partner. Wow, you're a really good writer. This is deep. And you're also very mindful of who you are and what your role in the situation is. Many fights began to ensue, and eventually I ended the relationship 10 months ago. I would just be curious, how long was the actual relationship? Remember, we talked about this on a recent live stream with the great Pete. 0 to 100, and it sounds like you went 0 to 100, and it was rose petals and wine glasses, and it was excellent and wonderful. Best relationship you've ever witnessed. This man was great. Spiritual, emotionally. Sometimes when it grows that fast, that quick, it can also deflate quickly. Not always, but a lot of times. Some of that time has been no contact, and I've gone out on 2 dates. What is hard is that whenever I go out on a date, I think about my ex and the things he would do or say, and how he always made me feel so beautiful, desired, and loved. I had to stop going out on dates because whenever I did, I would go home, right? I'd go home at night and think about my ex while laying in bed, and this is not something I want to do. I have pondered going back to my ex, but I know that I cannot change him, and I simply cannot accept this part of his personality. But I'm also terrified that one day I will grow old and feel regret that I let this person, whom I love so dearly go because of the stability dilemma. There's always sacrifice in a relationship, and I wouldn't find it horrible if you're the breadwinner, if you're the person that has to make money to support him. The idea that he's in and out of jobs would bother me compared to the fact that if he had a job that wasn't a huge money maker but involved some kind of responsible character or passion or significance. If he's careless about the idea of working at all and he's easy to find faults in his bosses or his jobs where you just regard it as him being lazy, which you haven't mentioned that word yet, you're using a lack of ambition. If it's a problem now, it's going to be a problem later on. So you're in the beginning stages of this. You've gone in no contact, yes. You've dated other people, and what the unfortunate thing is, it takes time to meet someone else, and it's absolutely 100% human of you to compare your past exes to the people you date. It's not an unfair thing, it's just a human thing. My short answer would be continue to date. If you get upset the fact that you're not meeting someone up to par with that ex, keep dating. Keep going on bad dates because it takes time. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It took you a few years to meet that guy. It is truly a dilemma. I just want to know what you think of this situation. I just need help to move on from this because I feel so stuck in the feelings of love and apathy towards his disposition in life. I've invested 3 years of emotion, time, experience, and hopes in this relationship, so I didn't know it was 3 years. And it's so hard to let it go. Well, what I would do in a live coaching session is I would unpack maybe 3 different angles from this. I'd unpack the idea of, let's say you got back together. Let's say you call him up. Everything goes right, and he has a good job right now. How would that look? Do you think that's realistic? Do you want to revisit things with him? Would he be receptive? How would it look if you went all in on, nope, he's not going to change. It's very important to me. I'm going to continue to date. I'm going to filter for someone that's more ambitious, and I'm going to start looking at where am I meeting the people that I currently date that aren't matches for me, and can I recalibrate where I'm meeting these people? So if it's dating apps and you have a negative result from dating apps, what are some other places? Keep in mind, you met this man at a church event. Could you meet someone at a church event again? Are you still involved in those kind of things? Could you meet someone at the gym? Okay, so that's the other thing I would say. The third thing is, what if there's nothing wrong with the fact that you miss him because you had 3 wonderful years and that you're comparing current dates to him, but really deep down inside, someone that's 14 years older than you and doesn't seem very responsible about working, and you are, if you did get with that person, what would your relationship look like 5, 6 years, 7 years from now? What would be the consequences of taking someone like that on? So those are 3 different angles I'd unpack. And I wouldn't say that you'd have to choose. I would say stop fighting the fact that you still have feelings for him and start using reason and logic to understand why you broke up in the first place. Experiences, hopes in this relationship. It's so hard to let it go. As of now, I haven't seen this man in 10 months. Good for you. Sometimes I go no contact, but I always end up revisiting a conversation with him as I miss him and do not ever feel that I will find a connection as strong as ours. So that's a highly dramatic statement. I don't believe I'll ever meet someone like that. So you just told your subconscious to basically stop dating good candidates because nothing's going to compare, as the great Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares to you. The way you worded that is setting you up for disaster. I feel like I feel that I will find a connection as strong as ours. That's not true. That's a choice in believing that. Thank you in advance for any feedback I may get from you, and I hope you enjoy a beautiful summer ahead. Well, thank you kindly for the kind words. I can tell you're a really nice person. I think I explained that the best I could. We still only got 6 on deck. Wow. So I'm good, Jasper J. So yeah, the basic situation here is that you have a specific reason that's very important to you of why you broke up. Right? And it's important to you. And you know it's not going away. And here's the thing. It's always a choice when you're in a relationship of what you accept and don't accept up front. Because it's a lot of times people won't change unless there's consequences. So as a caveat to this situation, if this guy and you broke up and you told him, look, this is why I'm breaking up with you. You can't hold a job. You're not very ambitious. And 10 months later, he got the message and he got a really good job. The problem is she didn't give me his exact age. She said he's 14 years older than her. I believe she's in her 30s. So let's just say he's in his late 40s to early 50s. People like that change. The older you get, the more you change less and less as long as you can get by. The only reason people really change is crisis, a death in the family, which could be a crisis. Ground zero, I call it, which could be a crisis. Or a serious consequence, which could be a crisis, right? It's like, how does the alcoholic quit drinking? A DUI, jail time, his wife's going to divorce him. You with me? But if the alcoholic goes to court and gets off on a technicality 3 times, he probably will go back to drinking. If he has to go to jail for 6 months, he might think about it. If the wife of an alcoholic goes, I'm going to divorce you, I'm going to leave you, and he goes, I'll quit drinking, I'm sorry, and she comes back, he'll probably go back to drinking quickly. If she actually moves out, gets a new apartment, and gets a lawyer, and shit gets real, maybe he'll quit drinking. Are you with me? So situations where it's a question of ambition, like I said, I need to know your definition of what ambition is. So let me get into the live stream today. Basically, we have a man here that is not acting like a man, so the girlfriend takes on a masculine type role. These situations almost always fail. One thing she mentions, though, Rob, is that she feels like he's masculine in a lot of other departments. It's just specifically an ambition. And I think that I understand what she means, that I don't think it's as cut and dry to just call someone masculine and feminine. I think there's certain moments or situations where people will have more masculine or feminine traits, whether it's a man or woman. And that's based on their past life experience, who they work with and whatnot, or what their job is. So she's saying, look, he's masculine, but this one thing. And by the way, what I noticed is if she was with a high-functioning alcoholic, high-functioning means probably ambitious and hardworking. So that's the one good thing she kind of gave the ex-husband a backhanded compliment. He was an alcoholic, but he was high-functioning. This guy's caring, loving, spiritual, emotional, highly connected to me, but low-functioning. She's seen what it is to be with someone like that. But the elephant in the room is she considers herself to be a ambitious, high achiever, responsible individual. And so when someone doesn't line up with that, it's extremely frustrating. And if you get out and into your head that you can't find another person like that, first of all, you're absolutely correct. And that might surprise some people because they go, oh, like, why would you say that as a coach? That's not very good advice. Every individual human being is different. So you will not meet that person again. Think about that. People are intricate. They're different. There's similarities. We might have some things in common, right? But we won't have 1,000 things in common. We won't have everything in common. We won't like the same exact foods, the same, like, if you're connected with someone on a deep level, you're connected on the things that are really important to you, but doesn't mean everything. But when you get out of a relationship and you start dating again, there are going to be some things that you don't like. But here's what's interesting. Tell me I'm wrong with the 5 on deck and the 4 likes. Serena J, welcome. Haven't you ever dated someone and you like them or you're attracted to them, and you go out with them one more time, but it wasn't great. It wasn't anything like, oh my God, it was so wonderful. But they grow on you. Or you work with someone, and when you first met them, you think to yourself, oh yeah, she's cute. She's all right. There's something cute about her, but there's nothing mind blowing. Then they grow on you, and then you become really attracted to them. Sometimes I think those kinds of levels of attraction that are just a slow to medium heat grow, if that even makes sense, are ones that have more of a chance of going long term than the 0 to 100. Because the 0 to 100 sometimes, and if someone makes you feel beautiful and loved and great and wonderful, but at the same time they don't handle business in other parts of their life, you wonder, are they capable of going 100 to 0? Or is this an act? And so a lot of times if you start out a relationship and you have this just outstanding connection, this outstanding bond from the get-go, we were soulmates. I think we knew each other in past lives. I'm not saying to embrace that and not have a good time. I'm all about the present, folks. Have a good time. Don't get married and have kids right away, though, because the jury's still out at 6 months, 8 months, or a year. And by the way, when you get to know someone, take a look at their body of work, where they work, how they treat their friends, their relationship with family members, because you're next. And give yourself some time to enjoy hanging out, enjoy that honeymoon phase, but also go, some people 6 months later, you're like, wow, you did that? And you're kind of like, wow. Sometimes you don't know people as well as you think you do. Sometimes people surprise you. Sometimes people put up a really good front in the beginning. Not everyone, but just be mindful of that. Johnny boy. Johnny be good. How you doing? If she's a certain age, she likely won't put up with this for very long. If there's any hypergamy, she's going to be looking for the bigger, better deal. I think in this case, Rob, she conveyed that, in the past she was a responsible caretaker, and this is a kind of guy she's never met before that made her feel so good. So it wasn't just cut and dry for her. She's very mindful, though. How do I deal with a friend that is an energy vampire? All she does is complain about her cheating boyfriend. She asks if I can ask my boyfriend to talk some sense into her man. Does that ever work? Let me read this again. Serena J, where are you from in the world, or where are you at, hon? How do I deal with a friend that is an energy vampire? Well, first off, if you identify that, and you take a read after you hang out with some Miami. Good for you. Take a read, and if that's the case, what are you getting from hanging out with them? That would be a great question. So whenever you're still connected to something negative in your life, whether it's a job or a friend, ask yourself, I know this person's bad for me. I know this job's bad for me. I know I'm unhappy. What am I getting from it? Excuse me. I hope the burp didn't come through on there. Think about it like this, Serena J. For a job, right? Let's say someone has a job, and a lot of people have jobs, they go, I fucking hate my job. And they're like, what? Because that's, if you have a job that you work a lot, or you work, it's not good for your life or your happiness to do something you don't enjoy or feel significant, important, proud, and privileged to do. Okay? So if you're hanging out with an energy vampire, what are you getting from that? Because a job that you hate, you usually go, well, I get paid. All right, well, then there's your sacrifice. So there you go. It's basically for job connections. So you look at it like, God, she's an energy vampire. But your subconscious goes, hang in there. She might be able to hook you up with a job. Now, people out there might be going, wow, that's really shallow of you. Not really. You just got to the bottom of why you're hanging out with an energy vampire in one simple question. Right? Sometimes we can have relationships with people with a hidden agenda, especially if it's to help you find a job, right? Yeah, she's like, right? You just figured it out right there. Well, why would I hang out with this person? Well, deep down inside, I hope they can help me out with the job. Okay, well then now you know why you're in there. And then if she gets you a job, are you like, yeah, I can't meet you for coffee today. Thanks for the job, though, hon. Maybe we'll catch up later. All she does is complain about her cheating boyfriend. She asks if I can ask my boyfriend to talk some sense into her man. Does that ever work? So second question, don't ever get entangled in someone else's personal business relationship. The only time I would say maybe you do that is if there's physical abuse. Then you need to call the police or something like that. Maybe you feel like you got to do something. But can you ask my boyfriend to talk some sense into her man? Obviously, I would wonder, is she being playful and funny? Because her boyfriend's actions and who he is, he's not going to be okay with you airing that out and some other guy telling him what he should and shouldn't do. And if your boyfriend was like, yeah, I'll talk some sense into him, I mean, do you even think that would be something your boyfriend would do? That's extremely weak. Like if I have a girlfriend and she's like, yeah, especially someone like myself, because you're a breakup coach. I've had not the same situation, but I've had people be like, oh, can you talk to someone? I'm like, yeah, go to my website and sign up for the service. I'm not gonna go out and do. Here's the thing, if people ask for your help, or they respect your work or who you are, you don't go out door knocking for, hey, you know what, I think you should do this. People don't respond to that shit, especially with the internet. People like to research their own stuff. The amount of clients I have that we do a coaching session, and they're like, oh my God, this was great, and this is wonderful. I'm going to recommend you to my friend. And the friend never comes around, and they're like, I don't know why. It's because people want to make their own decisions. They want to do their own research. And so what this woman's got to realize is, maybe you ask her the same question, Serena J. Go, hey, you know he's cheating. What are you getting from the situation? Like, what? Instead of going, why are you still in the relationship? What do you get from this relationship? And I bet she's highly attracted to him, and she doesn't think she can do better. He could be highly manipulative, but in her 40s, she should be knowing if she's being manipulated by the lies. Or it could be financial security. Those are just three. That could be endless different things. But there's a trade-off there. He's cheating on me, but I don't want to leave because of this. You're still getting something. So then when you get to the bottom of what you're getting, you have to ask yourself, can I get that somewhere else? So Serena J., your answer would be, Do I really need this woman for job connections, or can I still find a job elsewhere and just cut her off now? Because really, if you hang out with people like that, it's no bueno. Okay, thank you so much. She asked me incessantly, oh my God, her ex-husband now they're dating again. Guys in that age range likely won't change, so having her boyfriend give the other boyfriend a talk won't do it. But you would, like if my girlfriend goes, hey, can you talk to so-and-so's boyfriend? I'd say, hell no. I'm not getting involved in that, and that's one side of the story. I don't know what's true and what's not true. You want to book a live coaching session one-on-one, go ahead. That's true, Mac. I don't think anyone should be involved in a relationship unless there's physical altercation. No, hell no. That would be about it, right? That'd be about it. No, she's serious. Here's the crazy thing. You get involved, even if you do the quote-unquote right thing, you still could be the bad guy to both the people. Sounds like a train wreck. Her boyfriend is in his 50s. My boyfriend is in his early 30s. Yeah, good luck with that. Thank you, Rob and Mac. I'm at the point where I'm wondering if this job connection is even worth it. Well, there you go. Like I said, there's plenty of people out there that once they get the job connection or the job would be like, no, I don't want to meet for coffee today. She claims it's for money, but she's already self-sufficient and rich. She has no self-worth or confidence. Well, there you go. I need to give her your info and for her to talk to you ASAP. Well, just tell her I'm not going to get her. Here's what you need to tell her, Serena J. I'm not going to get her boyfriend to stop cheating. Right? What I would do, though, is unpack her reasons for her to get clarity on why she's sitting in a relationship that she's getting disrespected and feels shitty about herself and somehow thinks that someone else is going to have the power to change this man. That, you know what I mean? That's not how I operate. I don't sell snake oil, dude. So what I would do is write out your story, your whole story. Let's go through it in and out, in and out. And you know what I find a lot of people do that are with cheaters, right? I call it whistleblowing, where they want everyone to know how shitty that person is and how much they did them wrong. And I go, to be honest with you, you just look foolish. And people don't care that much. It's not a crime. They're not going to get arrested. Right? They're not going to get arrested. So you go around like, oh my God, my boyfriend's cheating. Oh my God, my girlfriend's cheating. She did this and this and this to me. I've had clients where they've gone on for 2 hours and I listen. That's part of my job. That's part of what I do. That's part of the therapeutic part of having a session with myself, because you need to get it all out and have someone actively listen, ask questions, get to the bottom of shit. Right there, Serena J, we just got to the bottom of why you're hanging out with an energy vampire with one question. Bam. You're like, oh shit, that's clear to me now. You have an objective, a hidden objective. Right? So some people like to whistleblow. And then they go, look what they did, look what they did. So, for example, let's say we're getting on a Greyhound bus. Do they even have those anymore? I don't know. I don't even know why I'm using that as an example, but it's in my head. And someone steals your wallet. Your wallet's missing. You just had it in your backpack. You have a right to go, hey, to the bus driver, everyone on the bus, someone just stole my wallet, and look for someone to help you out, right? Someone cheats on you, you make the same declaration to all your friends and family, everyone goes, what do you want me to do about it? It's not a criminal act. It's been happening since the beginning of time. The reality is, as long as you're in the relationship and you know they're cheating, you've shown some acceptance towards it. And there's some weird shit out there where people like drama. They like drama. They like attention. And if they get in a relationship with a guy that's quote unquote cookie cutter, perfect, or really nice, or follows all the rules, they're like, wow, this is pretty boring. I'm used to a bunch of drama. All right, folks, we're at 49 minutes. I got about 10 minutes left. I'm happy to answer any questions. We only got 3 on deck. I got to make the announcement every day. That's my fault. Oh no! Does that mean the Knicks are out of the tournament, or? Was that a play-in game? No, the Knicks are deep in. My ex-fiance wanted to meet up with me, but I declined as I knew I have too much to say and she needs to find her own way. Is that if you have my ex's fiance? Oh, wow. She wants to meet up with you to dig on your ex? I've heard of this before. I've actually had clients. I had a follow on from earlier comment. Okay, let me check that on. Good memory. She has found out he is internet dating. She won't leave him, but he has confirmed my suspicions. Time to move forward gives me shivers. I'm just laughing because so she wants to form like a coalition, MC. It's like he's your ex. She found out he's internet dating, most likely cheating. Now she wants to get you involved. I've heard of women doing this, where they'll find someone else and then they'll confirm crystal clear cheating, and then they get really upset and they confront the guy and they end up dating. They end up dating the guy. It's like it's the same thing as whistleblowing. It's like I was just telling someone recently. I go, you cracked the fucking case. You found out he's cheating. Why would you get other people involved to get more witnesses? Sometimes people crack the case on why their partner's a shithole, a shithead, or not good, right? They crack the case, but then they want to get more witnesses, a bigger audience. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And you know what it is? They want them to suffer. They want them to get in trouble. They want them to pay in some way, but at the same time, they want them back. It's really strange. And they also kind of want validation, but they still want them back because they're still entangling. It's like, MC, I'd say, look, hon, the best advice I can give you, if you found out he's cheating, be done. Or accept it. Those are your two choices. What's your alternative? And you want to get me involved? We're already dust. No, it's a series that's just not a good start. Samantha B, but why do men cheat if they're married? Why do humans cheat? Cheating's been going on since the beginning of time. Everyone has their own morals and values. Everyone has their own temptations based on their environments. That's getting deep on it. Right? So when someone goes, oh yeah, do you think about this? Who in nature, if you look at dogs, cats, and every other animal in the world, is there marriage or monogamy in the animal world? I think penguins are the only ones that do it. I don't know. It's a good question, and I'm not going to say I know the answer. We're human beings meant to be monogamous. I don't know. I've been in monogamous long-term relationships. I don't know. Right? But when someone goes, oh my God, this person cheated, it's not shocking. It's not shocking. The reasons for someone cheating might be shocking. The choice of someone's partner that they cheated with could be shocking to you. The fact that one human being decided they wanted to hook up with another human being that wasn't their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, it's really not that surprising. Society, culture, religion has made it a poisonous move in the world. The problem is that when you agree to not do it and then it becomes a lie. The reality is, like I said, here's what gets people to cheat. Environment, temptations, morals, and values. Those things vary in every individual, and they change in every individual. Not saying it's wrong or right to cheat. Whenever someone comes to me and cheat, I never judge them. I never judge them. You said, do you believe cheaters can change? Absolutely. I think cheaters can have made a mistake, and they can be wrong. Usually someone like that, you know them better than I do if it's your partner. If you've been with someone 4 years, 5 years, they come home, they were out with their buddies drinking, and or their girlfriends, whatever, and they tell you right away, look, I messed up last night, I was drunk, and they're crying and they're sorry, and they've never done it before, you have a right to give them, to forgive them. If someone does it repeatedly and hides it, and it bubbles up again and again, you're highly suspicious, your intuition's always bothering you, where there's smoke, there's fire, well, that's a different ball game, isn't it? Then look at, did their parents cheat? Then look at, did they cheat in their past relationship and tell you about it? Then look at, do they say things like, oh, all people cheat? There you go, Serena. People, a lot of times, everyone goes, actions speak louder than words. Yes, they do. But if you listen the way I listen to people, you can pick up a lot. Now, there is some people out there that are professional liars, actors, and, they just sell wolf tickets all the time, all day, every day, right? That's what it is. You probably had some kid in high school like this. I had a couple kids that I went to high school with. Like, everything that comes out of their mouth is a fucking production. There are people like that. Those are people that can dupe you in the beginning. Then over time, you're like, yeah, I already know this guy's full of shit, right? But it's not as cut and dry about it. A cheater can or cannot. But you have a choice, too. There's some people that are in a relationship with someone that cheats. They know they cheat, but then they go, but why do they keep doing it? Why are you still in the relationship if you know they're like this? They keep gathering evidence. And here's one of the things that comes up a lot. And I just had it recently with someone. People do this all the time. What's up, Clutch? How you doing? What do you mean by different ball game, eh? They'll get some evidence, like a coworker of your fiance, partner, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, texts a naked pic. So it's like, let's meet up. Let's meet up later. And you're like, that's pretty strong evidence, right? Something's going on. You get direct evidence, and then they don't say shit. I'll be like, so what did you say to him? We're in a live coaching session. They'll go, I didn't say anything. I just wanted to see how they acted afterwards. They'll keep it in their back pocket to see if the person continues to lie to them. Very common. As if they feel vindicated by holding that evidence in their hands. The reality is the person is scared to break up. They're scared to confront the cheater because they don't want to break up. But at the same time, they feel like, oh, I have this evidence I can throw in their face anytime, and I can tell when they're lying to me now. What are you getting from all this? Denial is a powerful thing. I never use the word denial, but that's exactly correct. Yep. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that happen before. My ex's fiance wanted to meet up with me. But I know guys that are like, yeah, I reached out to her. There was a guy that he's like, I'll just admit it to everyone. He was on a live stream. He was a call-in. He's like, I found her ex-boyfriend who's kind of, the guy's a dork. The guy's this. But I found him on Instagram. I called him up. I said, hey, tell me this. Tell me about her a little bit. And I was like, really, dude? Follow on earlier comment. But why do men cheat if they're married? No, it's a series, just not a good start. Power dynamics, sex addict exploring other options, no intimacy in their life. How about this one, Rob? So let's just create another scenario. Happily married man, or as well as can be, whatever that means, right? I have clients that go, my friend's marriage is so normal. They have this, like, you don't know the ins and outs of what's going behind closed doors. You really don't. People keep their cards tight about their relationships. And so sometimes people think, oh, it's so wonderful. This is why social media makes everyone think everyone else out there is having such a great life. It's not true, folks. I'm a positive person. But the reality is, I'll tell you this right now, everyone's got shit. And if they don't got it, it's coming. And if they never have it, I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to be around someone that doesn't have some life experience, some grit, some grind, some hustle, you've been through some shit. You've gotten broken up, and you've had a bad breakup. You've lost a job. You've been embarrassed before. You're fucking human. I don't want to hang out with perfect people. I don't want to talk to those people. Oh, why not? Why not? Because they're not real. They're hiding something. Does that make sense? A lot of us think like, oh my God, this person thinks this, and this about me. They got their own shit if they're old enough. The idea that someone's gossiping about you when you're in your 30s, fuck them. People don't care that much. Is it for sex? Wouldn't it be easier to be single or do whatever they want? I'm sorry, I got completely off topic here. Scenario to what Rob said. Rob goes, why would someone cheat if they're married? Power dynamics, sex addicts, exploring other options, no intimacy in their life. Exploring other options. Let's talk about that one, because that's maybe someone gets a new job, or they've worked at a job. Someone works with them that they're attracted to or become highly attracted to. They work with them 40 hours a week, 35 hours a week, 20 hours a week. They're with them more than they're with their partner. Their partner works a lot. Then when they're home, their partner's making dinner, this, that, and the other. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. Is it right or wrong? That's up for the individual in the marriage to decide. Is it going to be forgiven? That's up for the individuals. Everyone wants to go, oh, no one can forgive. It's always up to the individuals. Your morals and values are your morals and values in situations like this. There are some morals and values as human beings, such as killing, rape, physical abuse, that most people line up and go, yeah, wrong. Cheating? I don't know where people stand on that. People actually, there's a lot of people out there. I don't know what the percentages are. I would be just throwing piss in the wind on that. But there's a lot of people that believe that cheating is always done. They believe it's validated. They believe it's part of life. Do you believe cheaters can change? We talked about that. So cheaters can change. Some are compulsive about it. Someone can have an episode where they cheated and not do it again. True or not true? Someone can have an affair and end it, be forgiven, and not have an affair again for another 20 years. True or not true? Do you think sexual neglect can lead to cheating? What's your take on that, Mac? I would need to know what you mean by sexual neglect, some examples of it, and how it's affecting you directly. But my other answer to that would be, if someone feels like they're not getting it at home, they're certainly going to look for it if they're still active, correct? I used to be a cheater. I stopped and have been faithful for a decade. Well, there you go. I still get a lot of temptation, and I'm just too lazy to cheat now. Not some moral high ground. It's just too much work. Well, at least you're honest, Serena J. And you live in Miami, so that's just a hotbed, right? Environment counts. That's why I ask people, where do you live? Environment counts about your options. Miami would be somewhere where there would probably be a lot of temptation if you're a good-looking woman. Johnny boy. So this girl's got out of a long relationship. She's not ready to date again, but she likes me. What's the best way to handle a situation like that? Johnny boy, I need to know more of the situation, but don't try to force things. Don't try to be clever or cute at this point. She already likes you, so don't try too hard. Indifference is your friend. And, give her the time and space when she seems to hint that that's what she wants. Don't be pushy about it. And if she likes you, she probably will come to you eventually. I'm good friends with my fiance's ex. After I found out she cheated, we grabbed drinks. After I found out she cheated, we grabbed drinks, exchanged notes. Now we get together whenever I'm in Toronto. Well, there you go. Good for you, Clutch. I haven't had that experience before that I know of. The 4 serious relationships I've been in that were good, that, of course, ended in some way that wasn't great, right? Because they were breakups. 1 or 2 of them, they possibly could have cheated. I didn't know of it. But I don't think that's a bad situation, Clutch. For me, I haven't been in that situation, so I don't know if I'd want to exchange notes on an ex that cheated. But I mean, maybe I'd have to know more of the situation, why that went down. Maybe that's for a call-in one day, Clutch, to unpack with you. Perfect people aren't real. Listen, if they are real, I don't want to hang out with them. Oh, Johnny, Jersey's finest. I hope you're doing well, my friend. We got to catch up at some point, bud. Maybe you want to call in one day. Oh, Johnny's a good dude, man. Great name. MX Shark Gang. Well, that's an easy answer. Yeah, it's true, girl. I'm still hot, and my boyfriend is too. So far, we haven't cheated living in Miami. Well, good for you. See, that's the thing. Someone will be like, oh, because you're too lazy. That's not, it is possible. She's just giving you her answer. It takes work to cheat. That would be true, because you got to sneak around. You got to do different things. So, why aren't people more promiscuous in their 60s? They're probably lazy about it too. Just curious. It's something I've always wondered. Let's say one person in a relationship no longer wants to have sexual relationships with their partner, but the other does. Will the other partner cheat? Yeah, it's more than likely. Or they should just break up. But I've had clients before that, we get deep into the topic and they've been together 5-6 years. There's depression, there's anxiety, there's all kinds of shit involved, right? There could be alcoholism, there could be drugs, whatever. They don't bring up the fact that they haven't been having sex regularly till the end, till they really get comfy. We really build a rapport. That's some things people don't like to reveal. I remember one guy that was really successful guy. Made a ton of money, had a really cool job, had a lot of confidence in a lot of ways, and he was in this relationship. He's talking about it, and he was trying to figure things out, this, that, and the other. But it wasn't towards the end. He was like, we haven't really, slept together in probably like a year. I'm like, damn, this dude's like in his late 20s. I'm like, you're like, really? If that's the case, you got to ask yourself that question again that I said to Serena J. What are you getting out of the relationship? Because sometimes people, here's the crazy thing. Sometimes people just stay together even though they're not happy. It's just comfort, or they don't want to deal with selling the house or dividing up assets or the kids. There's all kinds of different reasons. But yeah, I mean, isn't it obvious that if someone still has an appetite for something, they're going to look for it in another place? Absolutely. It comes down to their morals and values, because some people go, that's something I would never do based on my religion. That's something I would never do because my mom did it to my dad. That's something I would never do because my ex-boyfriend did it to me. If we aren't intimate, I automatically assume you're cheating. Well, there you go. I wouldn't say that would be an automatic assumption. There could be something else to it. I've had clients before that there's definitely something wrong, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. It doesn't mean that. There's situations I remember a client had where there was one that someone was paranoid about getting pregnant because they had a situation where they had gotten pregnant before and didn't want to be pregnant, and they just didn't want that to happen again. So that's one that comes up sometimes. There's some, and you got, at that point you got to communicate. If someone just goes, oh, I'm just not in the mood, or it's just not in the same, you got to elaborate. You got to get to the bottom of it. You got to get a little deeper, because that's something you want an answer to. 9 people on deck, 6 likes. I appreciate it. I appreciate the donations. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the likes. This month's almost coming to an end. We got about 6 days left, right? I did do a special package deal for past clients. It's gone really good. 4 hours for $300. So that's $75 an hour. Some people might go, what? But I stand by my work, as the great E440 says. I stand by that. It's gone really well. So if any of you guys are interested in doing a hypnotherapy session with myself for a limited belief, or you're just stuck, that's something I now do if you want to go to my website. Also giving it an opportunity for people to be calling during the live stream, have a conversation / interview. Eduardo Martinez, if you want to do that, Rob, if you want to do that, anytime, you just email me at Coach Mac McCarthy and we'll set something up. There's a time that's good for you. So I had closing questions 20 minutes ago. Do I ask again, or do I just drop the mic? Serena J, it's been good having you on. I don't think you've been on before. Thanks, Serena J. Yeah, the best. That's kind of you. How's Miami treating you? There's a lot of people moving over there, huh? A lot of New Yorkers and the East Coast. I don't know about California people, but everyone's moving to Florida and Texas. I would say, if you're going to move, why not try Thailand? I've actually had a few clients email me, go, don't think I haven't been thinking about it. I hear all this stuff like, oh my God, I'm moving to Texas. I'm moving to Florida. How about, I think I've heard it once from Patrick Bev. What's his name? Patrick Bev something. And he was like, I think people are going to move countries. And I'm like, I do too. We are Brickell, the ritzy area. Thailand is amazing. That's where I live, hun. That's funny because when you say Thailand is amazing, I don't know if you already know this, but Thailand, that's Thailand's national ad campaign. Thailand is amazing. Everyone is buying up property for Airbnb in Florida. Wow, crazy. Yeah, man. Move abroad. The frenzy. Well, that's good for you, Serena J. I'm not moving, but I am taking a month vacation to Cambodia. Well, that's bold. I've never been there before, even though it's a neighboring country. A month, huh? Wow. I've known some people over there that liked it quite a bit. There was a guy from California that was supposed to move over here that ended up over there. Okay, you're Cambodian then? All right, folks, this is where I'm going to sign off and go have my lunch. It's 1 o'clock over here, p.m. But if you want to join the live stream tomorrow, the live stream is going to be on earlier. Let me just give this to you right now. And I'm going to have the incredible G Money, who's actually someone that frequents the live stream quite a bit. He's going to be a live caller tomorrow, actually. And that will be at, let me check the time real quick for the curious minds. It's going to be 9 a.m. Thailand time. So you got to go and check your, maybe I'll post it on the Discord today. I don't know what time that would be about 4 hours prior to this. 4 hours prior to this. Yeah, that's the time he has. So let's double check it for you folks. Yep. It's going to be about 4.5 hours before now. So it's a lot earlier. All right, folks, it's been a slice, as a friend once told me. Thanks for Thailand time. We're all there. Like I said, just 4 hours prior to now. So whatever your time is. Alif's become a professional photographer, videographer. I got him a job with another company, but we just hung out yesterday. So, yeah, he might come on in the future. He might come on in the future for sure. He just helped me make 4 new videos that are going to come up this week. So I'm really happy for him. Thanks for asking, Rob. But yeah, tomorrow about 4 hours earlier, LenderTube. I always enjoy your sarcasm. But if you guys want to come on, G Money should be interesting. It'll be on. I'll post it on the Discord. Otherwise, it's curtains.